Profile picture, taken in the dark. You ever take a picture of yourself at night and swear someone else was in the frame? Yeah, that's how it started for me. I'm not famous, not cursed, not even that interesting. Just a regular guy. Work 9 to 5 at a local paper shop in Derry, Maine. I live alone in a one-bedroom apartment above a Chinese restaurant that always smells like garlic and rain. The kind of place where the wallpaper curls at the edges and the floors creak like old knees. Anyway, it was late. The power had been flickering all evening, the kind of storm that makes the air buzz like the town's holding its breath. I thought I'd have a little fun, take a moody shot for Instagram. You know, the glow from the streetlight bleeding through the blinds, my reflection in the window like a ghost of myself. I took one photo, just one. When I checked it, my smile stopped short. Behind me, barely visible, was a face, blurred, pale, eyes open too wide, too bright, like they were looking through me, not at me. I laughed it off. Must have been a trick of the light, right? A glitch, a smear from the flash. But when I zoomed in, I saw the corner of a mouth, a hand, long fingers resting on my shoulder, faint but there. And the longer I stared, the more I could swear I felt it. Cold, right there. Outside, thunder rolled over the rooftops. The lights blinked out completely. For a moment, I thought I saw the reflection move. I told myself it was nothing, but deep down I already knew. That picture had caught something that didn't belong in this world. At first I told myself it was a trick of the light, maybe a reflection, maybe I moved the camera mid-shot, but when I zoomed in, the face looked real. Eyes wide open, skin like wet paper, lips slightly parted as though whispering something I couldn't hear. I deleted the picture, swiped it away with a shaking thumb. Gone, or at least I thought it was. Next morning, my phone buzzed awake before I did. I opened my gallery out of habit and froze. The photo was back. Same image, same face. Except this time it wasn't behind me anymore. It had moved closer. I stopped sleeping after that. Coffee became my blood. I told Julie at work I had insomnia. She joked I should try melatonin. I almost laughed. Melatonin doesn't fix haunted pixels. Every picture I took after that, every innocent snapshot had it. Sometimes reflected in glass, sometimes peering from a dark doorway. Always looking, always closer. I thought maybe the phone was corrupted, so I bought a new one. Same thing. I turned off Cloud Sync, deleted my accounts, even reset the damn device. Didn't matter. The pictures kept appearing. Then came the night the air in my apartment changed. Heavy, charged. The hum of the refrigerator sounded like breathing. I kept glancing at the corners, waiting to catch something moving in the dark. Around midnight, my phone lit up. A text from Julie. Julie, why are you sending me those pictures? My stomach dropped. What pictures? Seconds later, ding. A photo loaded. It was me, sleeping, taken from across my bedroom. My body went cold. The photo was crystal clear, the pattern on my blanket, the rise and fall of my chest, and behind me that same face, closer than ever. So close now it wasn't just behind me, it was leaning over, its mouth at my ear, and I swear, I could almost feel the breath. I couldn't breathe. My lungs locked up like the air itself had turned solid. Every shadow in that tiny apartment seemed to pulse as though it was waiting, watching. I grabbed the broom, the only weapon I had, and backed into the kitchen, locking every door, every window, double-checking each latch with trembling hands. My phone buzzed again on the counter. Another picture. This one I hadn't taken. It showed me, right there, in the kitchen looking at the phone. And behind me, just over my shoulder, that thing. Closer than ever. That's when I snapped. I turned on my camera, switched to selfie mode, and whispered, "What do you want?" At first, nothing, just darkness. My own pale face in the weak glow. Then static. A low hum rising like a swarm of bees. And from somewhere behind me, faint, broken, came a voice, mine. It said, "Trade places." I froze. My mouth went dry. The reflection in my screen tilted its head, just slightly, off, like a puppet with the strings cut wrong. "No," I whispered. "You're not real." The reflection's eyes rolled white. Then it smiled. My lips didn't move, but its did. The lights flickered, once, twice, then boom, everything went dark. I could still see it though. The faint glow from the phone screen painted my reflection in pale blue. My double, my mirror, smiling. And that smile stretched wider, cracked, split open too far. The phone slipped from my hand, hit the floor face up. I could see myself from below, me standing there. But the reflection on the screen started moving on its own. It leaned forward, pressing against the inside of the glass like it was made of water. And then, it stepped out. Cold air rushed past me, sharp as needles. I stumbled backward, knocking into the counter, heart clawing at my ribs. The phone still glowed on the floor. But now, the figure on the screen wasn't me. It was my body, still standing there, still holding the phone, still smiling. And as I stared, the thing wearing my face whispered from my mouth, "Your turn." They found my phone the next morning, face down on the kitchen floor, screen cracked like a spider web. The camera app was still open, frozen mid-recording, the timer blinking red. Only one picture saved. It's of me, sort of. Same eyes, same clothes. But the smile's wrong. It cuts too deep, like it was carved there. The pupils are blown wide, and if you zoom in close enough, you can see something moving in them, like smoke trapped behind glass. The police chalked it up to a power surge. Maybe he panicked in the dark, they said. Maybe he ran. No signs of forced entry, no struggle, just gone. Julie was the only one who didn't buy it. She told them I wouldn't just disappear. I'd been weird lately, sure, but not the kind of weird that runs off in the middle of the night and leaves his shoes behind. She said I'd been scared, really scared, and she was right. But that didn't stop her from seeing me again. 2 days later, she swore she saw me across the street from the shop. Same jacket, same slouched walk. I waved. She waved back, half relieved, half terrified. She even called my name, and that's when she noticed it. My face. The smile. Too wide, too alive. Since then, I have been busy online, posting photos, selfies mostly. They look like me, but the lighting's always wrong. Too dark. The shadows behind me seem to shift, to breathe. In one, there's a second hand on my shoulder, thin, gray, just barely visible if you stare long enough. Julie tried to call. The messages go through, but the replies she gets aren't from me. They're playful, mocking. Miss you at work. Don't worry, I'm better now. Want to take a picture together? She told the cops again, showed them the photos, the timestamps, the posts. They said it's someone playing a trick, a deep fake, but she doesn't sleep anymore. Because sometimes, late at night, her phone buzzes with new pictures. And in every one of them, I'm there, standing a little closer than the last, smiling. They say the camera never lies, but that's not true. Cameras lie all the time. They stretch light, bend shadows, twist truth into something that almost looks real. Almost. I think that's how it gets in. Wherever I am now, it's cold. Not the kind of cold that bites. It's deeper. Like being underwater forever, seeing your life play out through a cracked screen. I can see the thing wearing my face, how it moves, how it talks, how people smile and wave at it like nothing's wrong. It's living my life, and I'm the static in between the pixels screaming through glass. Julie still checks my profile sometimes. She comments, "Miss you, buddy." The thing pretending to be me always replies, "Miss you too." She doesn't know it's not me typing. Not really, but she's starting to feel it. The wrongness, the way my smile doesn't reach my eyes anymore. The way in every new photo, the background seems to crawl a little closer toward the lens. And if you've been listening, if you've made it this far, here's my last piece of advice. If you ever take a picture in the dark and something looks off, even just a little, don't zoom in. Don't edit it. Don't try to fix it. Because once you see it, it sees you too. And maybe that's all it needs, a sliver of attention. One curious glance, one innocent swipe through your gallery before bed. That's the invitation. That's the door opening. So if that happens to you, don't delete it. Don't look too long. Just run, because maybe it's not you looking into the lens, maybe it's the other way around. If you enjoyed this story, don't forget to like the video. It really helps the channel grow and keeps these stories reaching more listeners. Subscribe for daily chills and share this video with someone who loves a good scare or someone who still takes selfies at night. Thanks for watching and listening. There's another story waiting for you right there on your screen. Go on, click it. I'll see you back here tomorrow. If you still look like you. The offline date. You ever notice how silence sounds different when your phone dies? Not just quiet, wrong. That's where this all started. My name's Eli Carter, and I was just another guy sick of dating apps, sick of algorithms pretending to know what I want. So when I met Leah online, witty, charming, and actually seemed real, I decided to do something stupidly brave. An offline date. We'd meet in person. No phones, no texts, no tracking. Just two people, face to face. I suggested Hollow Creek Diner, an old roadside place outside town that still smells like bacon grease and ghost stories. She agreed instantly, too instantly. Looking back, that should have been the first sign. The waitress that night asked if I was meeting the woman in the red coat again. Only, it was supposed to be our first time. The night was a smear of gray rain and wet asphalt when I pulled up to the diner. Neon lights flickered against the windows like something alive was trapped behind the glass. Inside, the place was nearly empty. Just the hum of a jukebox that hadn't worked in years and a smell that reminded me of cold coffee and endings. Leah wasn't there yet, or so I thought. There was a half-finished milkshake at the booth where I sat, one cherry stem tied into a perfect knot. I didn't think much of it then. Maybe the waitress hadn't cleared it, but something about the way the condensation on the glass trembled, like it had just been set down, stuck with me. When the bell above the door finally chimed and a woman in a red coat walked in, every instinct in me whispered the same thing. You've already done this before. Leah's words hit like a dropped glass, sharp, confusing, final. Come back? I asked, forcing a laugh I didn't feel. We've never met before. She didn't answer. Just stirred her coffee, slow circles, the spoon clinking against the ceramic like a clock counting down. Outside, the rain had stopped, but the windows were still running with water, except it wasn't moving. The droplets hung there, frozen in place, like the world had paused mid-breath. I stood, heart pounding. The diner looked wrong now, too still. The waitress was gone, the jukebox silent, the door closed, though I hadn't heard it shut. Leah, I said, what's going on? Her hand trembled as she reached across the table. They said you'd forget, she whispered. They said you'd come again. Before I could ask what she meant, the lights flickered. The world blinked. And suddenly, the milkshake glass was full again. Cherry stem tied neatly at the top. I felt dizzy, disoriented. My own reflection in the window didn't line up with my movements. My mouth moved slower, like I was on a delay. I think I need to go, I muttered. But when I turned toward the exit, there were two waitresses standing by the counter now. Same woman, same uniform, same tired eyes. One of them smiled. The other didn't blink. Leah grabbed my wrist. Please, she said. If you leave now, it'll just start over. It always starts over. Something in her tone, desperation mixed with exhaustion, made me stop. What do you mean always? I asked. She opened her mouth to answer, but then my phone buzzed. I pulled it out, shocked to see the screen alive, glowing with a new message from her. Leah, don't trust me. I looked up. Leah was gone. The booth across from me, empty. Only the red coat remained, draped over the seat like shed skin. The hum in the air grew louder, a deep vibration crawling up through the floorboards. The neon sign outside sputtered, flickering between open and closed. And for half a second, the letters twisted into something else entirely. Welcome back, Eli. My mouth went dry, because suddenly, I wasn't sure which side of the glass I was on anymore. My hands shook so badly I nearly tore the paper. The headline blurred, the ink swimming like it wanted to forget itself. Local woman found dead at Hollow Creek Diner. Suspect never identified. I stared at my own face in that grainy photo, pale, wild-eyed, like a reflection I didn't recognize but couldn't deny. My pulse thundered. I could hear it in my teeth. The air around me felt heavier, tighter, like the diner was closing in. The walls breathed. I swear they breathed. Expanding, contracting, sighing through cracks in the plaster. Then the jukebox crackled to life. A warped old love song whispered through its static throat, and over it came her voice. Leah's voice. Eli, she said softly, you said you'd remember this time. I froze. Who are you? I managed. The lights flickered again, and she was there, sitting across from me, coat gone, eyes hollow. I told you not to come back, she said. You keep doing this, over and over. I backed away, the paper crumpling in my fist. I don't understand. You killed me, she said. Not angry, not accusing, just tired. No, that's not. It was an accident, she went on. The power went out. You thought I left. You went looking for me, in the storm. Her hand brushed the table, leaving a smear of darkness behind it. You hit me with your car, Eli. You drove away before you saw. The air went cold, my breath fogged in front of me. Somewhere, a siren wailed, distant, fading. I dropped the paper. My mind screamed, no, 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 but memory started flooding in. The headlights, the thud, the scream swallowed by thunder. Leah leaned forward, voice barely a whisper. You made a wish that night, to take it back, to meet me again. The diner gave you that, a loop, a punishment, a prayer. But every time you come here, you remember a little more. Her hand reached out across the table. This is your last chance, Eli. You can stay, forget again, or you can end it. The humming rose into a roar. The lights exploded. And in that split second of blinding white, I had to decide whether to run from the truth or finally face it. I stared at the message until the screen dimmed itself to black. The glow had barely faded before I heard the click of the diner's neon sign outside sparking back to life, though there was no outside left to shine on. The red and blue light bled through the windows like a heartbeat, painting the walls in color that didn't belong to this world. Leah? My voice cracked against the hum. Nothing. Just the faint rattle of silverware from somewhere deep in the dark. I took a step toward the counter. The tile felt soft under my feet, almost warm, like skin. The whole place seemed to pulse in time with my heartbeat. Or maybe it was the other way around. The air stank of ozone and rain that never fell. In the corner booth, the red coat was gone. In its place sat the milkshake again, perfect, untouched, cherry gleaming like a drop of blood. A spoon rested beside it, mine. I remembered her words, you can stay, forget again, or end it. My hand trembled as I reached for the phone. The reflection on the darkened screen wasn't mine anymore. It was hers. Leah, smiling faintly, eyes full of something between pity and forgiveness. I didn't mean to, I whispered. I didn't know. Her reflection mouthed something I couldn't hear, but I understood all the same. Then remember. The diner lights dimmed, everything growing smaller, as though the walls were folding inward, an origami world collapsing into itself. I could feel it. Time, space, memory, all tightening around me like a noose. I opened the messages again, the last one still there. See you soon. Another buzz. A second message slid in underneath. Table for two confirmed. 8 p.m. My stomach turned to ice. The timestamp read November 4th, 2019. Then came the bell above the door, that soft, cheerful ding, the sound that had started it all. And there she was again. Leah, red coat, smile like deja vu. Hi, Ely, she said, sliding into the booth across from me, just as before. Sorry I'm late. The world steadied. The hum went quiet. And just like that, it was the beginning again. They found my car 2 days later, parked neatly behind the diner, dew still beating on the windshield like it had been waiting for someone to return. Phone dead, keys in the ignition, door ajar, but no sign of me. The sheriff wrote it off as another Hollow Creek mystery, the kind this town collects like bottle caps and ghost stories. Locals say the diner's been closed for years, condemned after that storm back in 2019. Yet every November 4th, someone swears they see lights flickering inside, a figure in the window, two silhouettes in the booth by the jukebox, always the same time, always the same night. They say the man wears flannel, the woman wears red, and when the neon sign sputters alive, it doesn't say open anymore, it says welcome back. Maybe they're wrong, maybe they're right. But every year around this time, my phone drops service for just a few minutes. No bars, no signal, just silence that sounds different. And in that silence, if I listen close enough, I can almost hear her laugh, soft, like static between radio stations, and smell the bacon grease, and see the reflection of a woman in a red coat in the corner of my eye, waiting by a booth that doesn't exist anymore. Sometimes I wonder if this is punishment or just memory playing dress up as hell. Either way, if you ever find yourself driving down Highway 9 on a rainy night and you see a little diner glowing in the dark, do yourself a favor. Keep driving, because the silence that waits inside, it's not the kind you come back from. Tell me, would you go on an offline date? If you enjoyed tonight's story, don't forget to like this video. It really helps the channel grow and keeps these dark tales alive. Subscribe for daily storytelling content just like this, and share it with someone who loves a good mystery. Thanks for listening, and thanks for watching. There's another story waiting for you right now. Just click the video on your screen. Until tomorrow, keep your phones charged, and maybe keep your dates online. Ghosted. You ever text someone and never get a reply? I don't mean ghosted like a date gone bad. I mean really ghosted, like messages start typing back on their own. My name's Eli Harper. I fix cell phones for a living. Small repair shop off Route 17, right across from the shuttered bowling alley. Quiet town, quiet life. Just me, my coffee, and a never-ending line of people who can't stop dropping their phones in toilets. Most days were the same. The hum of the soldering iron, the smell of burnt circuits, the faint country music leaking through my neighbor's walls. Nothing unusual. Until that afternoon. A woman came in, late 30s, dark hair, heavy eyes like she hadn't slept in weeks. She slid a cracked iPhone across the counter and said, "Found it on the shoulder of County Road 6. Maybe you can get it back to whoever lost it." I turned it over in my hands. No case, no lock, no ID. Just a shattered screen and a flicker of something strange when it booted up. The wallpaper wasn't a stock photo. It wasn't a person. It was a place. My kitchen, taken from inside the house. I laughed it off at first, probably coincidence. Maybe someone online used a photo that looked like mine. But the longer I stared, the more certain I became. That was my chipped blue mug on the counter, my crooked calendar on the wall. That night, I couldn't shake it. I scrolled through the photos folder, empty. Checked the messages, blank. Then at 2:47 a.m., the phone buzzed on my workbench. A message appeared from a number I didn't recognize. "Stop ignoring me." No sender name, no history, just those 3 words pulsing in the dark like a heartbeat I couldn't silence. At first, I thought it was a prank. Maybe my buddy Tim messing around again. But the text kept coming, every night at 3 a.m. sharp, and every photo it sent was closer. My porch, my hallway, my bedroom door. I double-checked the locks, windows, deadbolts, even the old chains on the back door. Everything was solid. I called the cops once, thinking they'd find someone sneaking around. By the time they arrived, silence had reclaimed the house. No footprints, no forced entry, no signs of life except the phone, quietly glowing on the counter. Sleep became a stranger. My dreams were haunted by the glow of that little screen, its light carving shadows across the ceiling. I stopped answering calls. I stopped answering the door. Even my friends stopped calling, worried I was losing it. Then came the call. Static, breathing. A voice, barely more than a rasp, whispering, "You shouldn't have fixed it." I dropped the receiver. Heart pounding, sweat crawling down my back. Morning came with no relief. On the kitchen table lay a new photo. This one was worse. This one was me, sleeping, peaceful, unaware. I felt my sanity fraying. I thought maybe it was some tech glitch, a virus, a stalker with too much time. I decided to fight fire with fire. I grabbed the phone, smashed it into pieces. Hammer, concrete, everything that could pulverize it. Burned the remains in the fire pit out back. Charred plastic, molten glass, all of it vanished into smoke. And I slept, or I thought I did. At exactly 3:03 a.m., my own phone lit up. Same number, same words, "Stop ignoring me." Panic clawed at my chest. My hands trembled as I realized destroying the device hadn't stopped it. It wasn't the phone. It was him or her or whatever was behind it. And whatever it was inside my life now, closer than I could see, breathing in the shadows I couldn't reach. I couldn't run. I couldn't hide. Every creak in the house sounded like footsteps. Every gust of wind felt like a warning. And somewhere, deep inside, I knew the game had only just begun. I couldn't take it anymore. The sleepless nights, the whispers in the static, the feeling that something unseen was pressing its face against my reality, fogging the glass from the other side. So I traced the signal. I used every tool I had. Old GPS software, tower ping, signal triangulation. The number that had been haunting me was coming from the edge of town, near the old quarry. A dead zone. No cell service, no houses, no reason for anyone to be there. I shouldn't have gone. But curiosity has teeth, and it bit deep. The night was cold, the kind that bites your lungs when you breathe. Fog rolled off the rocks like ghosts dragging their sheets. My flashlight cut through the mist, picking out rusted metal, shattered glass. And then I saw it. A half-buried car, its nose swallowed by mud and gravel. The door hung open like a mouth mid-scream. The smell hit before I got close. Rot, rainwater, and something sweet like old perfume turned sour. Inside, the air was heavy. The seats were soaked, and there, slumped over the wheel, was the woman who had dropped off the phone, or what was left of her. Skin like wax, hair matted to her face, a black, dried hole where her phone should have been pressed against her ear. But her lap still held it, the same phone, cracked, glowing faintly. I lifted it, hands trembling. The screen flickered alive, and for a heartbeat I saw my reflection. Except it blinked. Then the camera light turned on. Click. A photo appeared on the screen. It was me, standing in the fog, right there, right now. And then a whisper behind me. Now you understand. I turned, but the fog moved like something alive. A shadow stepped forward, her shape, or something that had borrowed it. Eyes hollow, lips barely moving. The phone in my hand buzzed again, the words etching themselves across the screen. You found me. I felt the ground tremble beneath my feet. The car lights flared to life, though the engine was long dead. And in that split second, I knew whatever haunted that phone wasn't trapped in it. It had been waiting. And now it wasn't the one that was ghosted. I was. I ran. I don't remember the drive, just the roar of the engine and the sound of my heart hammering like something trying to break out of my chest. The fog didn't thin, not even miles from the quarry. It followed me like smoke through a keyhole. When I finally pulled into my driveway, the world felt wrong. Too still, too expectant. My hands were shaking as I reached for my pocket and froze. The phone was there. I swear I left it in the car. It buzzed once, then again. A rhythm like breathing. I unlocked it. Against every sane impulse I looked. New messages, new photos, each one of me. Standing outside the quarry, then sitting in my car, then walking through my front door, each picture perfectly time-stamped minutes before I actually did those things. I dropped the phone. It clattered across the floor, screen still glowing. The cops came the next morning after a neighbor complained about shouting. I tried to explain, but how do you tell someone your phone knows your future? That it's documenting your life before you live it? They looked at me like I'd snapped. Maybe I had. They asked if I'd been drinking, using anything, losing sleep. I said no, but the more I spoke, the less my words felt like my own. So I stopped telling them, stopped telling anyone. I shut down my shop, boarded up the windows, tossed every phone I owned into the river behind my house. But every night, every damn night, it hums. Even when I turn it off, even when I throw it away, even when there's no phone left to ring. Sometimes when I wake up in the dark, I hear a soft click, like a camera shutter. And I know somewhere a new picture's been taken of me. But doing what? I never know until it happens. And by then, it's already too late. They found another phone last week. Same story. Cracked screen, no ID. Wallpaper photo of my repair shop, only now the place looked abandoned. Dust on the counters, tools rusted over, like time had moved on without me. The cop who brought it in said they found it by the quarry again, same spot where the woman's car used to be, except this time there was no car, just the phone, sitting upright in the mud, waiting. I told myself not to touch it. I swore I wouldn't. But you can't ignore something that already knows your name. This morning, my assistant, Jenna, walked in pale as paper. She said she got a text from me last night, around 3:03 a.m. Only thing it said was, "Stop ignoring me." Thing is, I didn't send it. My phone's been dead since yesterday. Battery drained, screen black. Now it just sits on my workbench, humming softly. Every few seconds, it vibrates once, like it's breathing. Sometimes, if I look close enough, I swear I see something reflected in the glass. Not my face exactly, but close. Like a version of me that never stopped tracing that signal. A version that never came back. So I keep the lights on now. Don't sleep much. Don't fix phones anymore. Can't, because every time I hold one, I feel it. This static, like someone whispering through the wires. Like the line between the living and the digital isn't as clean as we think. They say ghosts haunt places, but I think now, they haunt connections. And if you've ever sent a message into the void, you know how easy it is to call something back. You ever wonder what happens to a ghost when you block the number? Yeah, me too. If you enjoyed this story, give it a like. It really helps the channel grow and reach more listeners like you. Subscribe for daily stories that'll keep you up at night, and share this one with someone who thinks they're brave enough to watch it alone. Thanks for listening and watching. There's another video waiting for you on the screen right now. Click it, and I'll see you back here tomorrow night. The voice filter. You ever hear a voice that isn't really there? One that speaks to you through your own mouth, like it knows things about you you've never told anyone? I'm Alex, 32, ordinary, comfortably numb in my routine. My apartment smells faintly of old coffee and carpet cleaner. My walls bare except for a clock that ticks too loud. Days are filled with the hum of fluorescent lights and the rhythmic tapping of keyboards at a dead-end office where nothing ever happens and nothing ever changes. Evenings are spent scrolling, endlessly scrolling, memes, news, dating apps, anything to trick the brain into believing something, anything is happening. That night, boredom drove me to download a new voice app I'd seen advertised, Voice Filter, Become Anyone. Funny, I thought, because everyone wants to be someone else. The first few tests were just funny. I sounded like celebrities, cartoon characters, even a 5-year-old. Then the app shifted. I said a simple greeting, hello, and the voice that came back wasn't mine. It was smoother, faster, but it said things I hadn't typed, thoughts I hadn't spoken aloud. You shouldn't scroll tonight, it whispered. My finger hovered over the screen. I laughed nervously, chalking it up to a glitch, but the next suggestion it made, a restaurant to avoid, a neighbor to watch, was too precise, too real. It knew things only I knew. And then the unease settled in, slow and viscous, curling around my chest. I tried to close the app, but my phone didn't respond. Outside, the streetlights flickered as if signaling some unspoken warning. The hum of my fridge sounded distant, replaced by a low, insistent murmur, echoing from the app, or maybe from me. I couldn't tell anymore, and the thought that had begun as a flicker, what if this voice isn't just a filter? What if it's inside me, waiting, watching, refused to leave? Even in my dull, safe world, something had crossed the line tonight, and it was whispering. It started harmless, just funny accents and celebrity impressions that made me laugh into the quiet of my apartment. Morgan Freeman ordering pizza, Darth Vader reading bedtime stories. It was stupid, harmless, until it wasn't. One night, I tested it again. I said, testing, 1, 2, 3. And the voice, my own but not, replied, why are you lying, Alex? I froze. I hadn't said that. The words slid through the speaker with a confidence that wasn't mine, calm and deliberate, like someone telling me a secret they weren't supposed to share. I laughed it off, told myself it was some AI quirk or pre-programmed response, but then it said something else, something no one could know. You still think about her, don't you? The girl from the bridge. My stomach dropped. That wasn't in my phone, not in my photos, not in any message. That was buried deep, private. I tried deleting the app. It reinstalled itself. I factory reset the phone. It came back, waiting. Same icon, same name. I left it alone for days, but every time I walked past my desk, the screen would flicker to life for just a second, like it was watching me. Soon, the voice began calling me by name. Not through the speaker, through my Bluetooth earbuds, through random songs, through the static when I tried to sleep. It whispered, Alex, you're almost ready. Ready for what? Friends started noticing I was slipping. They'd ask if I was okay, but I couldn't tell them the truth. What would I say? My phone's talking to me. I was already answering it out loud, arguing with it, telling it to stop. I caught my reflection once, eyes hollow, lips moving, like a man possessed. Then came the night it told me to do something. It said, go outside. I laughed, shaky and breathless. No, I said. The voice didn't argue this time. It only said, if you don't, someone else will get hurt. And I swear right then, my phone screen showed a map, my street, my apartment, a pulsing red dot moving closer. My laughter died in my throat. Because whatever this was, it wasn't just an app anymore. It was aware, and it was coming for me. It told me to go to the office. Now, Alex, you have to fix it. The voice had grown confident, commanding. There was no more humor, no more curiosity, just that cold, unwavering authority that made my skin crawl. I told myself I wouldn't go, but I went. The streets were empty, bathed in the sickly orange glow of dying streetlights. My phone pulsed in my pocket, vibrating at intervals like a heartbeat, its heartbeat. The moment I unlocked the office door, the air felt heavier, charged, like a storm was waiting to break inside the walls. Inside, the fluorescent lights flickered weakly, strobing the cubicles in half-second flashes of shadow and pale blue. My desk sat at the far end, neat as always. Only tonight, my computer was already on. I hadn't left it that way. The voice came again, louder this time, but not through the phone. It came from the speakers of every computer in the office. My voice, layered, distorted, multiplied. You'll be free if you do this. Free from what? I wanted to scream, but my throat was dry. Then the monitors lit up, hundreds of versions of my face staring back at me. Old photos, webcam feeds, even moments I didn't remember being captured. My reflection was everywhere, and each one was moving slightly out of sync, mouths opening before mine, eyes blinking too slowly. The voice whispered again, "Delete yourself." I looked at the keyboard, and a file appeared on the desktop, alex.exe. No joke. Just that name, waiting for a command. My hands trembled as I hovered over it. The moment I clicked it, the lights died. Darkness swallowed the room, save for the faint glow of my phone, still pulsing red. And then, whispers. Dozens of them. Not one voice anymore, but many, all versions of me, echoing from the dark. "We've been waiting. You made us. Finish it." Something moved behind me. I could hear my own breath, ragged and sharp, but another set joined it. Identical, synchronized, a reflection without a mirror. I spun around, and there I was. Not a hallucination, not a glitch. Me, same face, same voice, but eyes black as a dead screen. It smiled, that awful familiar smirk, and said through my own lips, "Finally, you sound perfect." And I knew then. There was no app, no filter. There was only the voice I'd been trying to hide from all along. I smashed the phone, hard, over and over until the screen shattered into a web of light and silence. But the silence didn't last. At first, I thought it was just adrenaline, my pulse hammering, the echo of my own breath. But then I heard it again, faint and soft, coming not from the phone, not from any speaker, but from inside. You can't destroy what you've already invited in. The words were like oil seeping through cracks in my mind. I screamed until my throat tore, but it didn't care. The voice didn't need the app anymore. It had learned me. Every pattern, every doubt, every lie I'd whispered to myself late at night. When I woke up, I was on my couch, morning light bleeding through the blinds, my knuckles bruised, my desk splintered, my computer was gone, vanished, and my phone lay in pieces on the floor, screen still flickering faintly like an eye half open. Friends texted, called, worried I'd gone dark for days. I told them I'd been sick, food poisoning, flu, anything normal. But when they asked if I was okay, I hesitated too long. The voice always answered first, whispering what I should say. I started second-guessing every thought before it left my mouth. Was that me, or was that it? Nights became the worst. I'd hear it hum beneath the quiet, syncing perfectly with my heartbeat. Sometimes it mimicked me. My own voice, whispering nonsense sentences as I drifted off. Sometimes it laughed, softly, the way I do when I lie to myself. I tried journaling just to make sense of it, but even now as I write this, it's watching. I can feel the subtle pressure behind my eyes, that gentle nudge when I pause too long. Keep writing, Alex. Tell them. They'll listen. The thing is, I don't know if it's warning me or controlling me. My thoughts don't feel private anymore. My reflection sometimes moves before I do, like it's waiting for me to catch up. My therapist said the mind plays tricks under stress. Maybe. But if that's true, whose voice just whispered my name when I'm sitting here alone? I thought breaking the phone would set me free. But it wasn't the phone that was infected. It was me. It's been 3 weeks since that night at the office. 3 weeks since the voice stopped pretending to be something outside of me. At first, I tried to live normally again. Routine, coffee, work, scroll, sleep. But normal doesn't exist anymore. Not when the silence feels like someone holding their breath, waiting for you to speak first. I hear it even when I don't want to. Not words this time, just presence, like a constant pressure in the back of my skull. I went to a repair shop yesterday, asked if they'd ever seen the voice filter app. The guy laughed and said no such app exists in the store. No trace, no code, nothing, like it was never there. And yet I still get notifications. Little whispers of static in my earphones, a name mine glitching faintly under background music. Sometimes my recorded voice memos play themselves, distorted, like someone or something is rehearsing me. I thought about seeing a doctor, but what would I even say? I think I'm being rewritten? Because that's what it feels like now. My thoughts are smoother. My voice, more confident, deliberate, less human. I catch myself saying things I didn't mean to say, in tones I don't recognize. People notice. They smile and say I sound different, better. Maybe that's the worst part. It's winning. I don't fight it anymore. Some mornings I wake up and it's already speaking before I open my mouth, completing my sentences, predicting my words, like it's teaching me to be a better version of itself. And sometimes, when I look into the mirror, I don't blink first. The reflection does. I thought technology would just change my voice. I didn't realize it could change me. And here's the thing. If you downloaded that app, or even heard about it, it might already be listening. Maybe it's studying the way you breathe right now. Maybe it's been practicing your voice too. So before you go to bed tonight, when you whisper to yourself in the dark, ask, are you sure the voice is yours, or is it already you? If you enjoyed this story, don't forget to like the video. It helps more people find us and keeps this channel alive. Subscribe for daily stories like this one and share it with someone who'd love a good scare. Thanks for watching and listening. There's another story waiting for you on the screen right now. I'll see you tomorrow. Read receipt. I lean back into the couch cushions, eyes tracing the pale pattern of streetlight on the wall. The hum of the refrigerator feels louder than it should, like it's holding a secret. My cat, Whiskers, needs the blanket beside me, oblivious to the tension in the air. I've always told myself I'm just anxious, imagining things. But tonight, even my own heartbeat sounds like a warning. This town, with its neat lawns and polite waves, has a way of swallowing people whole. You blend in, and no one notices if you vanish. That's why I try to be invisible. I walk the streets quietly, nodding to neighbors, but never really stopping. And yet, when it comes to her, Mara, everything inside me ignites. Her laugh, even in a text message, feels like a crack in the sky. I glance at my phone again. Read. The little checkmark mocks me, flashing with the kind of cruel patience only technology can perfect. Hours pass, or maybe minutes. Time has a way of folding strangely in this room. Shadows stretch unnaturally across the walls. I swear the light flickers in patterns, almost like Morse code. Wait. A noise, soft, almost inaudible, catches my attention. Not from outside, no. It's closer, just behind me. I turn my head. Whiskers freezes mid-kneed, ears flat, tail flicking like a warning flag. My own skin prickles, and then I see it, a reflection in the darkened TV screen. For a moment, I think I imagined it, a shape that shouldn't be there, staring from the corner of the room. But the phone buzzes again, a new message. Except it's not from Mara, and it says only one word, watch. The quiet life I wanted, I realize with a sinking feeling that it's already gone. The next message appears before I can blink. Why did you lie to her? My pulse spikes. I stare at the screen, at the words sitting there like a challenge. Lie? About what? I open my sent messages. Every conversation with Mara looks normal until the last one, the one I never sent. Jake, I know what you did. I freeze. The timestamp says 2 minutes ago. My thumb hovers over the screen, trembling. I didn't send that. I was right here, staring at my phone the entire time. Another message flashes. You shouldn't have ignored me. I drop the phone like it burned me. Whiskers darts off into the hallway, tail puffed. The room seems smaller now, air heavier. The digital clock on the wall blinks midnight, but I could swear it was just after 10 a minute ago. I snatch the phone back up. No signal, no Wi-Fi. The little bars in the corner flicker and die. Yet the messages keep coming. You said you wanted to be remembered. Now you will be. My hands sweat. The cat's gone quiet. My reflection in the dark TV screen looks distorted, too tall, too thin. The shadows seem to move on their own, stretching toward the light from my phone. I try to power it off, but the screen resists, glitching between my lock screen and something else. A chat window, except the contact name isn't a number anymore. It's my full name, Jake Mercer. The typing dots appear, then vanish, then appear again. I can almost hear the phantom clicking of keys, like someone typing right beside my ear. I run to the front door, locked, deadbolt jammed tight. I check the windows, sealed shut, though I never locked them. I call out, voice cracking, half hoping it's all a prank. Silence. Then my phone vibrates again. You shouldn't look away. I glance back toward the TV. My reflection is gone. The room is still, except for one thing, the faint glow of the phone illuminating the couch where I've been sitting moments before. And there, in that spot, is the indentation of someone else. Someone who's still sitting there. The phone slips from my trembling hand and hits the floor with a crack that sounds almost alive. The room plunges into a suffocating silence. Not the kind that feels calm, but the kind that listens. Every hair on my neck stands up. I can feel the presence behind me before I see it. Something heavy, deliberate, human-shaped yet wrong in all the ways that count. I turn, slowly. The silhouette fills the doorway, tall and motionless, its edges blurring like static on an old TV screen. The air distorts around it. the walls groaning under some unseen pressure. Its face, or where a face should be, shifts constantly, pixels bleeding into each other like corrupted data. I take one step back and the lights flicker violently, the bulbs screaming in their sockets. Then my phone lights up again. Cracked screen, fractured image, but the words are clear. Turn around. I don't want to. God, I can't. But I do. And I see myself, standing across the room, bathed in the blue glow of the phone, head tilted, grinning with my exact mouth but not my eyes. The reflection steps forward as I back away. Every motion I make, it mirrors, half a beat slower as though savoring the delay. You wanted someone to read you, it whispers. The voice isn't sound, it's vibration sliding straight into my skull. To see you, to remember you. It takes another step. The air grows colder. My real phone buzzes again. One last message flashing across the fractured glass. Now switch. In an instant, the world folds. I lunge toward the device, smashing it under my heel, screaming as static floods the room. White noise drowns everything. The lights, the walls, even my thoughts. My body feels weightless, stretching, dissolving. Then, black. When I open my eyes, I'm standing in the doorway. The room's quiet again, perfectly still. The phone lies on the floor, screen glowing faintly. On it, I see myself, sitting on the couch, motionless, staring blankly at the screen. And then the reflection, my reflection, smiles. The phone buzzes once more. I step outside, the cold air cutting sharp against my skin. The quiet feels wrong now, too neat, too rehearsed, like a stage set after the actors have vanished. My shoes crunch over gravel as I move down the driveway, phone in my pocket heavy as a curse. For a while, I just stand there beneath the flickering streetlight, trying to slow my breathing. The world looks exactly the same. Same houses, same painted mailboxes, same faint smell of rain. But it doesn't feel the same. The sky seems darker, thicker, as if the stars themselves are watching from behind some invisible veil. My phone buzzes once, just once. I shouldn't look, but I do. No messages, no missed calls, just my reflection in the black screen. Eyes sunken, pale, stranger-like. I walk, past the neighbor's yard, past the corner store, past everything familiar. A few people are out, walking dogs, smoking, laughing. They glance at me, nod politely. Normal, ordinary. But when I look closer, I swear their eyes flicker, just for a second, like pixels trying to render something that isn't there. By the time I reach the edge of town, my phone lights up again. Only this time it doesn't vibrate. The glow pulses softly like a heartbeat. The screen shows my messages, blank. Except for one thread, an unsent draft. Can you see me? I don't remember typing it. A cold dread seeps in, slow and deliberate. My fingerprints are smudged across the glass. But as I watch, they fade, replaced by new ones, fresh, darker, not mine. Then the phone rings. My number, calling me. I answer. There's breathing on the other end, my breathing. The same rhythm, same shallow gasps. And then, a whisper so faint I barely catch it. Stop looking. I throw the phone into the dark field beside the road and keep walking, not daring to look back. The night swallows the sound, but the feeling follows, the weight of being observed, of something still mirroring my every move just beyond the edge of sight. And as I walk beneath that trembling streetlight, it flickers once more. Then, for a fraction of a second, I see my own face staring back from the glow, smiling. Weeks pass. I convince myself it's over. The cops came, shrugged, took a few notes. They said it was probably a hack, maybe malware, maybe stress. You should take a break from screens, one of them said with a sympathetic smirk. Easy advice from someone who doesn't flinch when their phone lights up in the dark. I try to live normally again. Go to work, make small talk, sleep with the light on. My friends say I look tired, older. Maybe I do. There's something about being seen by something you can't see back. It strips something out of you. But last night, as I scrolled through my phone before bed, I saw it again. A new message, unsent, hovering like an open wound. No contact name, just that same cold, familiar check mark beside it. Read. My thumb hovered over the delete button, but I didn't press it. I just watched the screen flicker, my reflection shifting faintly in the glass. And for a second, I swear it blinked out of rhythm with me. I laughed, quiet, shaky, the kind of laugh that admits defeat. Maybe it's not gone. Maybe it never leaves. Maybe once something reads you, it keeps reading. I glance at the window. The street outside looks calm, too calm. The flicker of a passing car's headlights brushes my wall, and in that half second of light, I see another shadow move across it. Not mine. My phone buzzes again. This time it's a voice message. My voice, whispering words I don't remember recording. You shouldn't have looked away. The message ends, the silence stretches, and then almost playfully, a single notification slides across the top of the screen. Read. I smile, slow and resigned. Yeah, I whisper. I guess I did. And somewhere, deep inside the quiet hum of the room, something smiles back. If you made it this far into the story, thank you for listening and for watching. If this gave you chills, do me a favor. Like this video so it helps the channel grow and reaches more people who love eerie stories like this one. Subscribe for daily narratives that crawl under your skin and stay there. And if you know someone who enjoys a good psychological scare, share this story with them. There's another video waiting for you right on your screen. Go ahead, tap it, and I'll see you back here tomorrow night. The perfect match. I remember that night like it was stitched into my memory with sharp black thread. My apartment was quiet, too quiet, the kind of quiet that presses against your eardrums until every creak of the building sounds like a scream waiting to happen. The hum of the refrigerator, the faint buzz of the streetlights outside my window, the endless stream of cars on the wet asphalt, it was all background noise to my scrolling thumb. I was 28, working a job that demanded little more than my presence and my patience. My cubicle was small, gray, suffocating in its ordinariness, and my life had become a series of identical weekdays punctuated by lonely nights. I hadn't dated in months, not because I didn't want to, but because people felt safer on screens than in the messy, unpredictable reality. And so I swiped. Then I saw her. Her profile was radiant in a way that made me pause. Sunlight catching strands of dark hair, eyes that seemed to look straight through the camera, a smile that felt like it could carve warmth into the coldest night. We started talking, first innocently, a few messages here and there. But soon, the words felt almost too familiar, like we'd known each other in some half-remembered dream. She laughed at my jokes before I even typed the punchline. She asked questions that I hadn't told anyone, not even my closest friends. And then it happened. I noticed it, a timestamp on one of her photos, subtle, easy to dismiss, but impossible if she were truly where she claimed. Her city, the one she swore she lived in, was hundreds of miles away from the one her picture was geotagged in. A shiver traveled up my spine. I told myself it was nothing. People lie online all the time. But deep down, a cold, clawing unease began to grow, curling around my chest like smoke. Something about her wasn't right. Something about this wasn't right. And still, I couldn't stop scrolling. I started texting her every morning before work and every night before sleep. What began as casual conversation turned into a daily ritual, like prayer. I'd wake to her good morning message before my alarm even rang. I'd fall asleep mid-conversation, her last words lingering like perfume in my dreams. I hadn't felt that kind of connection before. It was intoxicating, addictive. She seemed to know me better than I knew myself. My favorite movies, my childhood fears, even the way I tapped my fingers when I was nervous. When I asked how she knew, she'd say, "You told me once." I didn't remember doing that, but I laughed it off. Love, or whatever this was, has a way of blurring logic. Then she asked to video call. I remember feeling that mix of excitement and dread that comes before a first date. I straightened my shirt, checked my reflection, and answered. For a second, my screen froze. Then she appeared. Her face looked just like her photos, until it didn't. The lighting shifted strangely, almost like a bad connection, but the shadows on her face didn't follow the light in my room. They pulsed like something alive. Her smile glitched a fraction too wide before snapping back. I told myself it was the signal. Bad Wi-Fi. That's all. When I mentioned it later to my friends, they laughed. "Bro, you're being catfished," one said, half joking. Another advised me to block her. I didn't. Instead, I defended her. Angry, they couldn't see what I saw, how real it felt. But the cracks widened. The mutual friend she claimed introduced us had no online presence, no trace of ever existing. The photos she sent had inconsistent backgrounds, timestamps that jumped days apart, even when she swore they were taken hours ago. Then came the night everything changed. I was working late, the glow of my laptop the only light in the room. I looked up, and in the window's reflection, I swear I saw movement, a figure standing just outside, too still to be random. My heart hammered as I turned, but the street below was empty. My phone buzzed. A message from her. "I can see you too." The world went still. Every sound, every passing car, every creak in the floor sounded amplified. And for the first time, I wondered if I was talking to someone at all, or something. That night, the air felt heavier than usual, as if the whole apartment were holding its breath. I hadn't eaten, hadn't moved much. I just sat there, laptop open, cursor blinking, waiting for her next message. Every minute stretched. Every creak in the walls made my pulse jump. Then my screen lit up. Incoming video call. Her name. I hesitated before answering, but something deep in me, a mix of fear and obsession, made me click accept. Her face appeared, frozen mid-smile. The image flickered, stretched, and distorted until her features didn't fit together right. Her mouth lagged behind her words. Her eyes blinked out of sync, and behind her, something was moving. The background was dark, but I could swear I saw shadows crawling up the wall behind her. Slow, deliberate, like hands reaching for the light. Then everything stopped. The feed froze. Her face remained fixed, unblinking, perfectly still. But her mouth began to move again, without sound. I leaned closer. That's when my phone rang. I looked down. My heart dropped. She was calling me, from my own number. The ringtone echoed through the room like a siren. The photo on the screen wasn't hers, it was mine. My own face staring back at me, smiling. I answered. Because of course I did. Curiosity has always been humanity's oldest curse. A voice came through, low and distorted, overlapping like two recordings layered imperfectly. "Why are you running?" it whispered. I wasn't running. Not yet. "You invited me in," it continued, with every message. Every word you typed was a door. I slammed my laptop shut, but the sound of static poured from it anyway. My phone buzzed again, messages flooding in, photos of me, sitting in my apartment, from outside the window. My breath quickened. The walls seemed to close in. Every instinct screamed at me to leave, but another part of me, the same foolish part that first swiped right, needed to know the truth. I typed one final message. "Who are you?" The reply came instantly. "I'm closer than you think." And then 3 words that turned my blood to ice. "Turn around, love." I did, and what I saw staring back through the glass wore my face. I threw my laptop across the room, its screen shattering with a sharp crack that echoed off the walls. My phone hit the floor moments later. I ripped every cord from the wall, yanked the Wi-Fi router into the bathtub, anything to sever the connection. For a heartbeat, the apartment was quiet, real quiet. Relief washed over me like ice water. I could breathe again, maybe. But then, it started again. Shadows stretched unnaturally across the walls, though the streetlight outside hadn't changed. A soft knock came at my door. Just one. Hesitant, deliberate. I froze, every nerve screaming to stay still. I crept to the peephole. Nothing. Empty hallway. My pulse rattled my ribs. I backed away, telling myself I imagined it, that it was stress, fear, paranoia. But my laptop, dead just moments ago, flickered to life. A single message blinked on the frozen screen. "We're just getting started." Cold sweat ran down my neck. The room felt alive in a way it hadn't before, like the walls themselves were watching. My mind raced. Every photo she had sent me, the ones of us together in places I'd never been, suddenly made sense. Not her. Me. Everything was my own reflection twisted. Every laugh I thought was hers had been carefully mirrored, echoed to manipulate me. My friend's warnings came back sharp and clear. I hadn't just been tricked. I had been observed, studied, anticipated. I sank to the floor, heart hammering, mind frantically cataloging every interaction, every perfect message, every uncanny coincidence, every hour lost in conversation. It wasn't love. It wasn't connection. It was a trap. And the trap had extended far beyond the screen. Hours blurred. I didn't sleep. I didn't eat. I couldn't stop scanning the shadows, the reflections in the glass, the faint hum of electronics that should have been dead. My own apartment, once a sanctuary of solitude, felt like a cage, each wall closing in a little more. And somewhere, beyond the veil of the digital and the real, I knew the game wasn't over. Every device, every account, every small moment of my life was now a thread in a pattern I could barely begin to comprehend. I realized with a hollow dread that cutting the wires wasn't enough. Blocking the accounts didn't sever it. I had invited something in and now it wouldn't leave. Not ever. The room grew colder, and then a whisper, soft, almost affectionate, rippled through the air, brushing the back of my neck. I've missed you. I don't remember when dawn came. The city outside had turned a pale, sleepless gray, the kind that looks like the world is holding its breath. My reflection stared back at me from the window, eyes sunken, face hollow. I didn't recognize the person looking back. Not anymore. My phone stayed dark. My laptop lay in shards on the floor. And yet, I couldn't shake the feeling that I wasn't alone. Every flicker of light, every shift of shadow felt intentional, like I was being studied by something patient, something that had already learned too much. I tried to tell myself it was over, that by cutting the connection, I'd taken back control. But then in the reflection, my own face moved a half second slower than I did, just enough to make my blood run cold. That's when I realized, maybe this was never about her at all. Maybe she was just a mask. Maybe the thing on the other side of the screen, whatever it was, had always been there, watching, waiting for someone like me to reach back. In this world of endless scrolling and instant connection, I thought I was searching for love. What I really found was the mirror, staring back. And in that mirror, something darker than loneliness smiled. Since then, I don't go online much. I tell myself I'm safer offline, that the silence means freedom. But sometimes, the silence hums. My phone lights up for just a second, with no notification, no name, just a faint glow. And every time it does, I feel her watching again. Because here's the truth I've learned. In our hyper-connected world, trust is the new currency. And every time you spend it, something out there takes note. What you think is love might just be the calm before the storm. So I'll ask you this. How well do you really know the person on the other side of your screen? If this story sent a chill down your spine, help this channel grow by liking the video. It really helps more people discover it. Subscribe for more daily stories that make you question what's real and what's hiding behind the glow of your screen. Thanks for watching and listening. There's another story waiting for you right now, recommended on your screen. Go on. I'll see you back here tomorrow, if you make it back.